PrizePicks versus Underdog. Which platform is actually easier to beat? Most people ask this question the wrong way. They compare the payout screens, they compare the promos, they compare which app looks cleaner, and then they decide which one feels better. But that is not the real question. The real question is, which platform gives you the clearest path to making smarter entries, and which platform gives you more ways to accidentally fool yourself? Because on the surface, PrizePicks and Underdog look similar. You pick players, you choose higher or lower, you build an entry, you hope the numbers hit. But once you actually start using both, they feel like two different games. PrizePicks is easier to understand at first. That is probably its biggest advantage for beginners. The experience is cleaner, the decision tree is simpler, and the core idea is easy to explain. You are choosing projection. You are deciding whether a player goes more or less. And you are deciding how many picks belong together and whether the entry should be more aggressive or more protected. That simplicity is powerful, but it can also trick people, because beginners see a clean screen and think the decision is clean too. They find one pick they like, add another pick they like, then keep adding until the payout finally feels worth it. The app looks simple, so the entry feels simple, but every extra leg still has to be right. Every weak projection still weakens the whole card. And every time you add something just because the payout looks better, you are letting the multiplier make the decision. That is where PrizePicks hurts beginners. It is easy to learn, but it is also easy to overbuild. Underdog is different. Underdog can feel just as simple if you are only looking at higher or lower picks, but the platform has more layers. You can run into pick'em style entries, rival style decisions, best ball drafts, tournaments, correlation, roster construction, and format-specific strategy. That gives sharper users more angles, but it also gives beginners more ways to be wrong. On PrizePicks, a beginner usually gets in trouble by adding too many legs or misunderstanding the difference between a safer entry and a more aggressive entry. On Underdog, a beginner can make that same mistake, but they can also misunderstand the entire format they are playing. A rival's pick is not the same as a normal higher or lower pick. A best ball draft is not the same as managing a normal fantasy team. A tournament entry is not the same as building something that simply feels safe. So if you ask which one is easier to use, I would say PrizePicks. If you ask which one has more ways for a smart user to find edge, Underdog has a strong case. If you ask which one is easier to beat, the honest answer is more complicated. PrizePicks may be easier for a beginner to understand, but that does not mean it is easy to beat. A simple platform can still punish bad process. Underdog may offer more strategic depth, but that does not mean beginners should automatically run there looking for edge. More depth also means more traps. That is why I do not look at either platform as just a pick sheet anymore. Before I lock anything in, I want to know what the pick looks like with live context, current stats, matchup details, and multiple AI models checking the logic. That is where Parlay comes in. Parlay helps you break down picks before you place them, using live context, current stats, matchup information, and top AI models. So instead of just asking whether a pick sounds good, you can ask whether it actually deserves to be in the entry. And that matters on both platforms. On PrizePicks, it can help you decide whether the projection is actually off, or whether you are just adding a leg because the card looks better. On Underdog, it can help you think through the format. Is this a clean higher or lower pick? Is the rival's setup actually favoring one player? Is the best ball draft giving you real tournament upside, or just a comfortable roster that looks nice in the lobby? That is the difference between using these apps casually and actually trying to beat them. Now, if I had to simplify the comparison, I would put it like this. PrizePicks is cleaner. Underdog is deeper. PrizePicks is easier to learn. Underdog gives you more strategic branches. PrizePicks punishes people who turn one good pick into a bloated card. Underdog punishes people who treat every format like the same thing. PrizePicks can be better for someone who wants a straightforward pick'em experience. Underdog can be better for someone who understands contests, correlation, drafts, and format-specific edges. But neither one is easy money. That is the part beginners hate hearing, but it is the part that matters. Platform does not save you from bad decisions. A clean interface does not create an edge. A bigger payout does not create an edge. More formats do not create an edge. The edge comes from understanding what you are actually playing. If you are on PrizePicks, stop asking, how many picks can I add? Ask, how many picks actually deserve to be here? If you are on Underdog, stop asking which format looks most exciting. Ask, do I understand why this format changes the strategy? That is the real answer. PrizePicks is probably easier to start with. Underdog might give sharper users more room to separate. The easier platform to beat is the one where you understand the rules, understand the payout structure, and refuse to let the app push you into decisions you did not actually earn. So do not choose the app because the entry looks better. Choose the platform where your process is sharper, because in the long run, it is not PrizePicks versus Underdog. It is your decision-making versus the